All right. Welcome back to the Ekkocast. You guys have been loving these episodes, and this is probably going to be my favorite one. I'm not going to lie, and that is because we have a special guest today, and that guest is none other than my wife. Tori, how are you feeling?
We're feeling great.
Tori's a little bit nervous. She's not used to being on long form as much as I am. You guys obviously know that if you've watched any of my lives, but I think we can give you guys some interesting conversations, some insights into maybe a part of my life that you guys haven't necessarily seen, especially with the one person that actually sees it. I don't have any friends. So let us get right into it. Tori, obviously a lot of the questions I'm going to be asking you are things that I already know the answer to, but this is more so for them. How did we meet initially?
We met in, I think it was freshman biology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the year. But you approached me and a couple girls that were walking out of class.
I was a player.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I don't even remember what you said. I think you just kind of slipped in and started making conversation.
I slid into the DMs, but in real life.
And then on Facebook. I think that's how the conversation started.
Did I reach out to you on Facebook?
Yeah. I know. It kind of ages us,
I didn't even remember that. But here's what happened from my perspective. Okay. So I was a freshman and my eyes were opened to the possibilities of there being just lots of girls around. I just didn't most of my life spent in high school was just dedicated towards playing soccer, getting better at that. And then in my freshman year, we had a biology class together. So what I did was when I walked into that class, I just looked around the room and I said, okay, who's the prettiest girl in the room? And singled out her. And then I went and sat behind her. And I was fairly good at the sciences, as you guys know, but I pretended like I didn't know as much about what was going on as I did, and slowly, casually worked my way into being study partners with her. How did it work out for us the first go around?
My priorities were not necessarily in the right place, so not great.
Yeah, she was a little hung up on somebody from her past, and let's just say I was not the most tactful in the way that I approached things, so it did not work out our first time around. But then, what ended up happening?
So then I kind of came to my senses and realized what I should be looking for rather than surface level things. And I reached back out to him in the fall of the next year. And I just said, hey, would you be willing to give me another chance, essentially? And Joel said, no.
Yeah. And then I came to my senses later on because I had told myself when things didn't work out between us the first time, I had said, you know what? If Tori comes back and she's apologetic for the way things went down, then what I would do is I would give her another chance. And I realized when I said no, it took me a couple months to realize this, but I realized I wasn't being true to what I had told myself I would do. So then I asked her out, and what day did I ask you out on?
It was for Valentine's Day.
I didn't know that. It did not even cross my mind. It was February. I'm really bad with dates. So I was actually talking to my family and I said, yeah, I'm going to be going out on a date on Saturday. And they said on Valentine's Day? And at that point, my heart just sunk because I did not realize that it was going to be Valentine's Day. Did you realize in the moment that it was?
I mean, probably, but I don't really look into things that deeply like that. So.
You're not reading into things. No, I thought you would, and that was terrifying for me, but it worked out, obviously. And then I kind of proposed about a month after that. So that was quick.
I mean, at that point, I feel like because we were pretty close beforehand as friends. I feel like our relationship as a friendship was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I feel like once we started dating, it was okay, we just kind of know at this point. So
yeah, to be fair, even after she had rejected me very profusely, I had still developed a working relationship with her as far as friends go, and I was you guys know me, I'm very boxed in my thinking. So when she rejected me, there was no, oh, well, I'm just waiting until the next opportunity. I was like, okay, well, that door's closed, whatever. And for some reason, eventually I came to my senses and decided to put a ring on it. So I want to ask you a couple things that I don't even think I've asked you before.
Oh, that's terrifying.
But I was just thinking about how we could go about this and thinking about how we can make it interesting. What was your first impression of me when we met?
Well, I was just like, my first impression was I thought you were going after the other girls in the group. But so I guess it's like hard because it's like, that was my first impression. But like after like we actually hung out for the first time, I was like, oh wow, this guy is like easy to get along with. Like it was very natural. And you were an athlete, so I thought you were cute, obviously.
Yeah, but
that always helps.
But I did have braces. I had braces in my first year of college. That I did not realize going into college how much of a nerf that would be.
How long did you have them for into college? Didn't you have them for a couple of years?
I had them at least freshman year. Might have been a bit of sophomore. But I'm pretty sure for junior and senior they were off.
Okay.
But that was like looking back on it.
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
It's a good thing I'm not an extremely self-conscious person, because when I look back on it, I think, okay, I was going into the dating scene with braces. That's pretty crazy.
That is true. I didn't even think about that, actually.
I mean, that's good. That means you're not superficial.
Not super.
All right. Next question. What did you think? So like, as we moved along in our relationship, obviously I graduated and stuff. Where did you think that my career would be going before we ever got into the fitness realm?
I mean, well, at first, because you were in geology, I thought we'd just end up being out west somewhere. I mean, honestly, Texas was kind of an option, I suppose, because oil industry. And that's kind of what you had talked about, was the oil industry. But then, like, as things went along, like, you were doing environmental stuff. So I was like, I genuinely don't know. And then you started teaching. And I thought you would be a teacher for a long time. Like, I thought that's kind of where you would settle and then do coaching that way.
Yeah. And then COVID hit. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was teaching when COVID came around. My whole purpose behind teaching was I enjoyed teaching, but I wanted to teach to eventually be a coach at a higher level in some sport. I didn't know which one yet. I enjoyed coaching soccer, basketball, volleyball, all of it. But that was my initial intent. And then when COVID came around, obviously that threw everything for a wrench. That threw everything for a loop. But Tori was actually doing higher level education during that time. So let's get into talking about let's give you a formal introduction. Dr. Tori Twinem here. A lot of you guys don't know that. She actually has her doctorate. So pharmacy. How was that for you?
It was an experience.
So were there any aspects of it that you didn't like too much?
I mean, honestly, the health field is kind of a lot for me. I'm a generally anxious person. So like learning about all these things that could make me anxious was not great.
Yeah, her heart rate was about 150 coming into this, just so you guys are aware. But go ahead.
But yeah, anyways, it's like a good field to be in if you don't want to be like with the blood and guts of the health industry, but there's still like when you're learning about it, it can kind of be like, So at what point did you start to, because like obviously when you first go into it, you don't necessarily know what you're going to like, what you don't like. At what point did you start getting some level of maybe this isn't something that I want to be in for the long haul? I don't think it ever was something I really wanted to be in for the long haul. I just understood that it was a good career for like if I wanted to be a mom someday, and if I wasn't, it was just a good career to be in general. It was flexible. There was like multiple paths you could go down if you wanted to. It was in the health sphere, so you're like able to help people, but you don't have to do kind of like the gross stuff.
Yeah, the gross stuff. That was actually because my mom and my sister are both nurses, and I considered going into the nursing profession. And it was when they started telling me some of the things that they had to deal with people, especially when it came to things that come out of people. That was when I completely changed the trajectory of what I thought I was going to do. So I don't blame you for that at all. But how was it transitioning eventually to working together?
I mean, it was amazing. It was hard at first because I had student loans still, and I obviously kind of felt guilty, like, not working and contributing to that. So just, like, transitioning out. And also, like, I really liked the job or the people I was working with and the job kind of that I was at. So I felt bad leaving fully, but, like, overall, the job that I do with you and then working with you is very fitting for me and my personality, and I very much enjoy it.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, essentially we run our business together, and I do most of the stuff that's out front, obviously making videos, doing lives, taking care of that stuff. Tori takes care of everything in the background, which is why when you guys ask me more financially related questions, stuff like that, I legitimately don't have a clue, because she handles everything in the background. And if she didn't, you guys wouldn't get half the content out of me you do, because I don't have the organizational capabilities that she does. I cannot stay on topic. But so you said you missed the friendships within it. Was there anything else that was like a standout that you actually enjoyed doing about it, or was it mostly just day-to-day routine stuff?
Honestly, some of the mundane stuff in pharmacy I kind of enjoyed doing the most. I hated compounding though,
What's compounding?
where you like make the drugs kind of yourself, like just different liquids or creams or something. I don't know why. I just hated that. But like everything else, like I didn't mind.
I remember you saying at one point, you said, I wish that I had just gotten an accounting job where I could just sit in a cubicle and
I
crunch
like
numbers.
doing mindless just work.
Yeah, that's why you also want
That's
to
why
get
I like
into.
doing stuff with you.
I'd say that's why you want to get into.
background stuff.
Oh yeah, because you don't have to think when you work. No, just kidding.
No, but it's like it's just like, I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just taking care of the day to day. It's not something
it's
that's
not overly complicated. It's just mundane stuff that has to be done, but it's not like hard.
I was gonna say it's very, very helpful for me. So thank you. Now let's talk a little bit about the gym, because you didn't do much in the way of the gym before we met. So how did that come about?
Well, it came about because of pharmacy school. Very stressful. And like I said, I had pretty bad anxiety, and I started getting like panic attacks in grad school. So I was like, man, I should probably do something. I, ironically enough, did not want to hop on any medications. Like I wanted to stay as far away from that as possible. So, and we were newly married, and you were into the gym. So it just kind of seemed like, all right, maybe I should give this a go. So that's kind of what got me started.
Do you want to tell them where you started working out?
So me and my friend, I made my friend come with me because obviously I didn't want to do it alone. So we would make Joel train us, and there was like an exit to our gym, a side exit, and then there was like a double door system. So there was like a space in between that wasn't fully outside, but there was the gym, there was this area, and then there was the actual exit to the outside. And not many people went through there, so Joel was training us there.
So we did body weight squats, sit-ups, push-ups, but it wasn't exactly
Joel's first coaching experience.
Yes, it wasn't exactly the gym per se at the beginning, but obviously then eventually you were able to transition into going into the gym.
Even still, we had to like sneak in before or after hours if we could, because they didn't really do a good job of like locking up the gym, so we could kind of
tell them that. They might come after me in the future.
No. It's for their own good now. So
That's true. But then that led to something that was kind of interesting, which if you've been following for a little while, some of you might remember Enter Tori. So how did the whole, because you started doing some social media posting, how did that come about?
So I had kind of been doing social media, then kind of took a break, and then I was like, I don't know, I had a video idea, and it kind of stemmed from like, I have 3 younger brothers, and so I think the most natural thing for me is to like troll and mess with people. And so I like had a video idea that was kind of like would be trolling the internet, or like the guys kind of viewing the internet as like a younger brother almost. And it did well. So I was like, I might really lean into this.
So what Tori would do is she would make videos where there would be some guy who was doing a lift or something like that, and then it might be a stitch or some other thing, where what she would do is she would mog the boys with the lifts that she was doing. But what she would do is she would do something satirical. So she wasn't actually doing more weight than them or anything like that, but it would be something like when you're lifting 5 plates on each side of the barbell, and they'd be like bumper plates, and then you would not believe how angry this made people. And these videos went viral more often than my videos.
Well, the first one though was like a benching video that wasn't even mogging anybody. Like the mogging came a little bit later after I kind of established my troll presence.
What was the thing that caused people to get mad about that?
I'm trying to remember the video, but I think it was just saying, I think I was saying like benching more than all the guys. And remember, and I think it panned over. And then it was like
you said when you're benching more than all the guys in the gym. I think, and I was in the background, right?
Yeah, next to me on the next bench with like
and then
5
on the next
plates
bench benching more and no, it's if you are a girl who's looking to go viral on a consistent basis, just make satire related videos where it's very clearly satire to anybody who knows what they're doing in the gym, but can still anger the teen boys. All you have to do is pretend like you're stronger than them, and you will go viral on a consistent basis.
And I think part of it too is I'm built like this.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
they were not happy about that. There was a lot of people would comment that their nephews were bigger than you.
No, it was their little cousins.
Their little cousins.
Yeah.
I don't know why little cousins got brought up all the time, but it was
Constant.
my little cousin has more muscle than you. But that was a fun time. But eventually you kind of left that stuff behind, and
kind of needed to.
Tori got very obsessive about the numbers and the metrics and paying attention to
it was unhealthy
growth
and I just kind of ran out of ideas and
love
for the game.
As you say, now you just help me on that side of things.
You know, and I noticed the less I did and the more effort I put into your side of things, the better we did overall. So I was like, maybe I'm being called away from this, trolling the internet.
Well, it's working. But she still has a profile if you want to follow. So is it Dr. Tori Twinem?
Yeah, you made me change it to that.
I did make her change it to that. I mean, if you have a doctor, you got to flex it a little bit. Dr. Tori Twinem, mogs all the boys. Trust me. All right. We have some pretty big news. I'm sure you've probably already seen it by this point if you're watching this, but Tori is pregnant. So we are due in August. And so I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. When it comes to pregnancy, like obviously everybody has a different experience with it. What's been harder than you expected?
All of it.
All of it?
I kind of have beef with every woman who said that they love pregnancy because it has been an experience, to say the least.
Would you say it's gotten better over the last little while?
Yeah, it's gotten better. The first trimester was a lot worse than I anticipated.
Yeah, for some reason, almost every...
And I didn't even have it bad, technically.
Really?
No, not compared to a lot of people.
Oh, okay. But for some reason, everybody who's close to us has been telling us that
they didn't even know they were pregnant.
Yeah, they had no hiccups,
weeks.
And it was... But for us, it was an experience. led to... I'm not going to lie. You were good about not bringing me into it too much. Because, like, as far as not...
on me hand and foot.
No, I mean as far as like you didn't let what you were going through change the way that you behaved towards me.
Because I was too tired.
That's fair. That's fair. You need a lot of energy to fight.
Yeah.
How would you say our relationship was in the beginning when it came to how well we interacted together and
like
resolved
the beginning of marriage
conflict?
or the beginning of pregnancy?
Beginning of marriage.
We butt heads a lot.
Yeah, a lot of times people they see the calmer side of you, obviously in a public setting. But I'm not gonna lie. There's when people say that there is a very close relationship between love and hate, it's 100% true. It just is.
We had beef.
Tori is the only person that can make me angry, and so when I tell people that, often what will happen is they'll say that's a bad thing. But the reason is because I care more about what she thinks than anybody else. So if she's unhappy about something, then it is automatically going to make me unhappy about it. But I just am very indifferent towards other people's emotions. So no, it's been great, but
Every year has been better than the last.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, it's been a very upwards trajectory. Our first year of marriage, we fought a lot. So if that's something that you guys struggle with, trust me, it's something that you can resolve and can get better over time. As long as you're both willing to understand that you're not actual enemies in those moments. It's definitely something that you can improve over time. So I know a lot of times people say, oh, well, marriage is so tough. And well, if you both have each other's best interests at heart, you can definitely improve those things over time. All right, well, let's move into some things that people might not necessarily think about when it comes to our relationship together, with me being in the fitness world, doing bodybuilding, all of that. How are your feelings towards me doing things like bodybuilding prep?
I don't mind. I do mind sometimes, but since you've been doing it so long now, I feel like I less mind because I like food a lot. I like food as an experience. So, and I like you enjoying stuff with me, so that's kind of hard, but over the years I've gotten better. I feel like not trying to get you to fall off your diet.
Yeah, that's a tough one because you guys obviously know I'm a very structured person, but I also need to be a little bit more flexible at times because I can
as
make
long as
things
I
work.
tell you in advance. So I feel like we've negotiated and come to a good thing.
That's true.
And then deeper into prep, I'll get irritated, especially now that I'm pregnant. It might be brutal, but Joel, well, no, because we might both be waking up a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
But Joel, at the end of prep, wakes up a lot to eat salad.
So this is something that I don't necessarily advise for other people who are in bodybuilding prep. But for me, one thing I've noticed for myself is I will wake up a lot during the middle of the night regardless. And so often what I'll do is I'll set aside a little bit of food taken from the calories that I have available for the day, because if I eat them all before I go to sleep, I'll wake up regardless. And having just a little bit of food partway through the night will actually help me soothe back to sleep. But unfortunately, that means that I'm messing with her at the same time. But yeah, we'll both be waking up plenty, so it should work out fine.
I know, and I value my sleep, but it'll probably be good. If it's before the baby comes, it'll be good practice, and then after the baby comes, we'll be up anyway, so.
Yeah.
Might work out perfectly.
I was gonna say because I'll be doing a full bodybuilding competitive season, so maybe I can just be the one who takes care of the baby all night. It might work out well. It might work out perfectly. Are we revealing whether it's we're not? I'm not allowed to tell you guys.
Surprise.
It's going to be a surprise. Both the name and the gender will be a surprise, so stay tuned for that. All right, now getting more into the social media side of things. What would you say if there's something that you see consistently? What would you say that people misunderstand or seem to get wrong about me on social media versus what you see of me in private?
Oh, I mean, I think a lot, especially like your personality, because you're a little more abrasive on social media, I think. And people don't realize, and I see slander against you all the time, and it makes me so angry because I know how you are and you're a great person. So it's like, how are they getting this conclusion about you? So
it's, if you guys aren't familiar, this is something I've talked about quite a bit when people bring it up. If you are a little bit more direct and a little bit more abrasive and willing to poke the bear a little bit on social media, you have a better chance of going viral. So even though technically you might be a little bit less compassionate or not quite as understanding or forgiving of situations on social media, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what your personality is like. But whatever people see online, they assume whatever they see online, they assume is actually worse in person. Because they think that you're always showing your best side all the time. And so I've often had people who will say they don't like me, like on social media, very often. And I've never taken personal offense to that because I could understand it. If you only see a couple videos from me where I'm being a little bit more aggressive, then I could understand that perfectly fine. But
even still though, like on your social media, I don't think you're that aggressive. You're kind of more blunt, I would say.
It's also very easy
sometimes on your lives you get a little,
I was going to say,
let's calm down.
see, and if you're saying that and you know me in the background, you got to understand some of these people are going to take that the wrong way. And that's perfectly fine. That's something I've accepted about socials. But if you'd seen the first couple years of social media, because I was trying to grow my profile, I was even more aggressive than I am now.
Yeah, that's true. You had to take some videos down sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while you push the envelope. It goes a little far. You're like, yeah, probably not the best way to present yourself. It's a learning curve.
And because you're so blunt, like sometimes you don't realize like how it can come across as mean.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes and this is actually something that's happened in our relationship a decent amount too.
Yeah.
Where you guys all, of course, make the tism jokes and stuff, but there is an aspect to which I am not necessarily the most feeling person at times in situations where I should be. How's that been?
You've gotten a lot better.
Tori has fixed me. Tori,
God's fixed you.
Yeah, I would say God gave me you to help me fix that aspect. But no, there are very specific conversations that I remember early on in our relationship where I would think that I'm just talking about things. I would think that I'm just going over a situation, and she would say that I was either being mean or arrogant or something. And to me, I was just talking about a situation. There was no sense. And I started to realize that there was a lot of things that I'd let slide in the way that I conducted myself and handled things. And Tori has been phenomenal for helping me fix those things. So you guys should be thanking her very heavily.
But it has been frustrating too, because you're like, even though you might not be the nicest when you go about it, you're always right. So it's also very aggravating for me, which is why I've always struggled.
I don't know if I'd use the words always right.
Wait, what were you wrong about the other day? Remember you were wrong yesterday about something?
I was actually. I do remember that. I think I pushed it out of my mind because I don't want to remember.
It was like the first time in years.
It was, and I was blatantly wrong too.
Oh, dang, I wish I could remember what it was.
So I looked it up. I looked it up and I was completely wrong on it. I definitely searched it because I expected to be right and I was not right. So one win for Tori. No,
in 9 years.
it's happened more than that for sure. But yeah, you guys know me. I'm a very combative person, and that can be good in some senses when it comes to growing socials and stuff, but it can also be relationally tougher for the other individual involved. All right. Was there ever a moment where you actually doubted that we'd make it?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? That first year?
Oh, through marriage? Even in marriage?
Yeah. That first year was pretty rough. I was like, oh my gosh, can we do this?
Well, I mean, you know me. Divorce is not on the table.
Oh, it's not for me either.
So how would it be a possibility?
Well, because I'm just saying, like, is this going to be like one of those, I don't know, are we ever going to be able to like get better from this type things? Dang,
see, I was just mad. I was just mad. I wasn't thinking about whether we were going to make it.
I was also very dramatic, though.
That's true. You are quite dramatic.
Very highs and lows.
Yeah, that's why the heart rate right now is way up here.
During dating, though, I guess like there was a little spiff there where things were kind of like more tense.
Yeah, that was probably.
And I remember you told me that you would not be with me because I wouldn't do the helium balloon.
Okay, that sounds weird. That sounds weird, but you have to understand from my perspective what I was thinking.
No,
okay.
It makes sense.
Should we go into that story, or is that?
Yeah, I feel like you have to explain it.
Fine. All right. So I had some helium balloons. I don't even know. Why did I have helium balloons? I don't know. But I had some helium balloons.
From the lab or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was something to do with in the laboratory we had helium, and so I'd filled up something. Anyways, I sucked in the helium. Obviously, changes your voice. And then I was like, "Hey, here, you try it." She didn't want to try it, and why were you against trying it?
I don't know. I felt self-conscious in the moment. Just didn't feel like it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here was my line of thinking. Okay, this was very early in the relationship. I made a far bigger deal out of it than I should have.
Actually, it was not that early in the relationship.
It was pretty early.
It was before we were married, but it was later into dating.
All right. Trust. Well, we can quibble about the date, but I was thinking this. If I'm with a person who's unwilling to make themselves self-conscious at any time, is that going to limit our ability to have experiences and try things? That was what I was thinking.
Which is fair.
It wasn't really about the helium balloons.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, I totally understood but yeah, I was self-conscious.
I just didn't want people walking away from this saying Joel was going to get rid of his wife because she wouldn't she wouldn't suck in air from a helium balloon.
There was deep thinking.
Yes. I was that made me nervous. But thankfully, Tori has sucked many helium balloons since then. I'm just kidding.
I've literally done 0. I didn't even do it then either.
Yeah, that's true. But I got over myself, understood that it was not that big of a deal, and Tori has been willing to do plenty of things, like starting a whole social media profile where she rage baits everybody. That would have been unthinkable at that point.
Yeah.
So
There's still a lot though I won't do. I'm not like skydiving. I don't think that's in the cards for me.
That's not anything to do with being that's just you're just scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not being self-conscious. You're just scared. But one day I will go skydiving. So if one of you guys wants to take me,
Maybe that can be a giveaway of some sort.
Yeah, I'll go with you guys. I'll go with you guys. We can make it a group thing. All right. Now, what would you say? Obviously, we live very different lives than our family members. I was going to say friends, but most of our friends now are actually in this space as well. But obviously, people that we've been friends with in the past. What would you say is the weirdest part about actually being in the fitness industry?
It's just a whole different lifestyle than I ever imagined that I would have. There's a lot of like adapting, I think, mentality wise, that just because it's just not what I expected. It's just a totally different life.
Do you
working for yourself?
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you see it as, do you feel like you have to over explain to people, or do you just kind of let them think
Not
what they're going to think?
But yeah, like with family stuff, like it was hard at first because it sounds weird, because it kind of is. But I feel like it's become more normalized. And now that we've been integrated in it for so long, I feel like it's more understood. They still say, your guys' life is so weird, which it is. But yeah, they're grasping it better, and I don't have to over explain myself.
Yeah.
Or justify it.
Speaking of things that you were self-conscious about, I would say that was probably the only area I was actually, because I'm a person who doesn't get self-conscious very easily. That was the area I was actually most self-conscious about, was having to explain to family members, specifically her family,
Well, that makes sense.
what it is that I do. If you guys know anything about my overall upbringing, personality, I'm a very big believer that that the man should be the head of the household, provide, etc., or at least be able to. And if I felt like people didn't think that I was able to do that, or that I was just playing around, which was the thing I was always worried about, was, well, is he just playing around with a hobby? Meanwhile, we got Dr. Tori Twinem over here doing pharmacy. That was I would say that was honestly the thing I was most self-conscious about. But yeah, I don't get very self-conscious about many things, but that one was a big one for me. All right, a more fun question. Do you like my content?
Sometimes.
So this is what I used to do. When I first started on socials, I would actually hear Tori scrolling through her phone, going through content, and I would hear her scroll onto one of my videos, and I would listen to when she scrolled off of my videos. So if you ever want to know, if you're ever trying to figure out if your content is reaching a general audience or able to captivate, find people who like you anyways, and kind of be a fly on the wall outside to see when they are no longer interested in what it is you're saying. Because if that's happening and they like you, you're doing something wrong. And that was something that I figured out pretty quick. So I started to figure out which content was working better, which content wasn't. And but overall, like, you have zero interest in science-based
to be fair,
lifting.
at the beginning, your content was more generalized.
Yeah.
So it was like more interesting to me. I'm not tapped into science-based lifting. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care.
The funny part is, you even being not tapped in would understand more than the majority. Just
because I'm not overthinking stuff.
Yeah, it's just osmosis, really.
Yeah, and like I still hear about it a a lot.
I have an issue, guys. I have an issue.
It's good.
I have to get my
Only
thoughts
smarter
out.
because of it.
I have to get my thoughts out a lot of the time, and you guys think that I yap a lot when I talk to you. You should see what she has to go through, and I appreciate.
You've
you
become
putting up
better
with it.
at like figuring out if I'm truly not interested.
Now I just say, "Hey, I know you're not interested in this,"
And
but
then,
and then I just say whatever I'm going to say.
Which I'm like, well, as long as you acknowledge it, that helps.
Yeah, and she just smiles and nods, and then I go about my day. But for some reason, I feel like I have to tell somebody. There's a lot of frustrating things out there.
And sometimes like it ends up being interesting. So
Yeah, every once in a while. And then I'll skip the parts that are more technical just to get to the juice.
yeah, I think that was part of the problem is like I don't love over explaining, or I don't really care as much about like why I'm doing something in the gym. Remember, because like when we started in the gym, I'd get upset because I'm like, I don't need a science lesson. I just want to like know what I'm supposed to do.
See, and you guys are the opposite. A lot of the times with the people that I talk to on my socials, I'm like, all right, just do this. And they're like, well, why?
But that's
Like-
probably better. Like I feel like my mentality is not a good mentality.
I mean, it gets results.
Does it?
To be fair, you haven't been working out as much recently. It's been rougher trying
Yeah,
to work
we can
out.
blame the baby now for like a lot of things.
Exactly. The baby is going to take the blame for pretty much anything that I don't do to the best of my
Poor little thing.
abilities. Yeah, if I do really bad at my shows, it's going to be because of the baby, okay? Nothing to do with me.
In a great way.
In a great way, yeah. I'll be happy about it for sure. No, that's not the conversation. It's going to be just, yeah, I didn't come in conditioned. Baby. It's their fault. All right. One of the other things that I think is people often feel like they have to put up a front when they know that they're going to be in the public eye on a consistent basis. When you know that you're going to be in the public eye at certain times, being a part of the fitness industry, being with me, being on this, do you feel a lot of pressure from that, or is you just living your life?
I feel like maybe at the beginning, especially when you first started getting noticed more, I was like, oh, wow, this is like becoming a thing. It was like good accountability for me to like, I don't know, keep myself in check. And like I have RBF, so like.
So you say you're acting like you're just going on rampages in public or something.
No, but like even just because people think I look angry all the time. So it's like, I
That's
probably
true.
still do, but sometimes I think about it and I'm like, smile more.
Fun fact.
But now I don't really, it's kind of become a part of life.
I was going to say, fun fact, in college, when I was playing soccer, she was known as the girl with RBF
Yeah, that's
by our
horrendous,
soccer team. And it's
but
not,
also fair.
well, I mean, you also wore like a little bit of darker makeup. So like I think it was more so just
I'm also just a generally angry person, so I guess it matches.
it's not as bad as you make it out to be. All right. And just, I didn't want to make this last too long. I don't want to raise your blood pressure too much. We got to keep the baby healthy. But just on a final note, do you think that social media as a whole has helped or hurt our relationship? For anybody who has relationships and is looking to get into social media.
I mean, probably for our situation helped because I get to work with you because of it.
Yeah. That's
And
honestly.
I feel like that's awesome. Like I feel like we still don't spend enough time together.
Guys, you guys have seen my lives where if Tori's not there and I have to get home because I've left her for
Okay,
too long.
normally I only text that if we actually have an engagement. Like today, for example.
Yeah, we were almost late for this.
So
No,
I know not to bother you.
No, you've gotten a lot better about it too. I know I used to feel more pressure to not leave you for too long, but you've become great about it. Well, Tori, it's been a pleasure having you.
Absolute pleasure.
And guys, stay tuned for Baby TNF. We will keep you guys updated. We might even do a gender reveal with a specialized strap release. But you'll have to wait and see. Thanks for coming, Tori.
Oh yeah. Thanks for having me.
As always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys.
TNF out.
You're supposed to say Dr. Tori Twinem. It's
No.
okay. Dr. Tori Twinem and TNF out.